Here's a hidden gem in CRO that no one is actually even talking about. And that hidden gem is repeat purchases. We're guilty of it as a CRO agency. I'm guilty of it as someone within CRO. But typically, every CRO or conversion rate optimization specialist or expert reports based on potential revenue uplift of new customers. So everyone focuses on revenue per session or revenue per visitor. How much more money are we making you with a winning test versus your current site? So let's say, for example, we're running a product display PDP test, and that test has an additional revenue increase of $100,000. That is based on front-end data. That is based on if you send 100,000 people to version A, your current website, and 100,000 people to version B, the test that we're running. Version B is going to generate you an additional predicted $100,000 in new revenue or more revenue per customer in that front-end revenue. But what a lot of people don't talk about, and what we forget to report when it comes to CRO, is the repeat purchase rate as well. Because if you're a consumable product, or if you're a brand who does a lot of repeat revenue, not only are we going to make you more money on the front end, but we're going to acquire you customers cheaper who are actually then going to purchase a lot more in the back end. On average, e-com brands do anywhere between like a 25 to 35 up to 40% repeat purchase rate. So not only are you going to be generating cheaper customers on the front, but these people are going to repeat purchase at 30, 40%. And that revenue is never really reported by a CRO agency. So I think that's a really important thing to take note of, is sometimes we're guilty of saying this is going to make you an extra 2-3 million per year. But actually, sometimes we're underselling that, because what those customers do on repeat purchases is actually going to generate you way more as well. So let's say a winning test on your PDP or on your collection page or your cart or checkout, whatever it is going to generate you an additional predicted $100,000 in new revenue additional revenue per month. Now let's say you have between say 28 and 35% repeat purchase rates. As an absolute number, that $100,000 is actually going to then generate you an additional $28,000 to $38,000 in repeat business. I think one thing to remember is that retaining one of your current customers is going to be 5 to 7 times cheaper than acquiring a new one. So not only are you getting people cheaper on the front end, they're going to be repeat purchases. It's going to make you a lot more money on the back end, and all around, that's why CRO is so powerful and leaves more profit in your pockets. Let's say you're driving 100,000 visits to your e-com store, and typically out of those 100,000, let's say 5,000 people from that spend, that marketing spend, turn into customers. Now, of those 5,000 people, let's say you have a 30 to 40% retention rate, you're going to be bringing back a lot of people to your store. But let's say you run experimentation on your site, or we optimize your site so you send the exact same 100,000 visits, but instead of 5,000 people purchasing, 7,000 or 8,000 people purchase, and then you have the same retention rate on the back end of 30, 40%, you've just acquired several hundred or thousand new customers at a cheaper price who are therefore likely to repeat purchase. And we've seen this time and time again. We work with some very large clients in the consumable space. One, for example, a large energy drink brand who have a 70 to 80% repeat purchase rate. So by optimizing their store, we were able to not only cut their acquisition cost in half, but all of those people who came in from the same media spend are now repeat purchases. So their lifetime revenue of their customer is huge, and therefore their annual revenue is going through the roof. So I think it's just a really nice way to look at CRO. Typically, we're guilty of reporting those shiny objects or those front-end numbers, but what this means for your brand is not just about front-end, it's the LTV or the lifetime value of that customer. And if you have high retention rates, then CRO is got to be a play that you have to be doing.